Welcome aboard the System76 transmission log. Our broadcast is about to begin. This is the latest on System76 computers, manufacturing, and Pop OS. Now for your in-orbit crew.
Hey, Alex. Tell me about your experience at All Things Open.
It was my first time. I was helping work the booth with Stetson and Aaron, who are from the sales team and support team, respectively. And it was pretty fun. We had a lot of attention at the booth. We were the only consumer hardware company that was there that I'm aware of. And we had a lot of excitement. ATO was raffling off 3 of our Pangolin laptops. So we got a lot of questions about that. We were able to give the spiel about System76 and our open source mission, our Denver manufacturing. So it was great to sort of educate the enterprise masses about us.
Cool. I feel like we were here recording just yesterday. The month flew by pretty fast.
Yeah, it's almost Thanksgiving. It's crazy.
Yeah, and when it's close to Thanksgiving, we celebrate our birthday because System76 was born or founded on November 7th. So we celebrated our 19th birthday this month, and we had a feast with cake and presented Carl with a nice canvas that had a company photo on it. And now he can see our smiling faces on the wall every single day.
Yeah, walking into the office is kind of like walking into grandma's house. You see your photo from 5th grade up on the wall, and you're like, oh, good times. Thanks, Grandma. Grandma Carl.
I like when we go on tours and we stop by the photo wall on the way out, and I can tell stories of each photo. So that's really fun.
And we have some meetups coming up too as well. We go on factory tours during those. There's some catered food and drinks. We play some games. We get to chat with the community, chat with locals. So it's a good time. The next tour, I believe, is in December. Is that right?
We have our December and January meetups posted on meetup.com.
What would you say is your favorite part on the tour?
When we get to the blue laser.
Why the blue laser?
I can't tell you.
Hang on. Secrets.
You have to go on the tour to find out.
Okay, well, I'm going to schedule a tour after this podcast. How do I schedule a tour after this podcast?
You have to email me Emma, EMMA, at system76.com directly, and you can schedule it, or you can come on one of our group tours.
I will email you to get those secrets.
Okay. All right, let's get into hardware news. We talked in depth about Thelio Astra last month, and there have been some benchmarking results released by Phoronix. So those show some promising results, and you can check it out on phoronix.com if you want to get some details there.
Yeah, we featured Thelio Astra at ATO. People were excited to talk to us about our new ARM64 workstation. It's an Ampere processor, up to 128 cores, up to 6,000 ADA graphics. So beast of a machine, beautiful looking. And we were right next to the ARM booth at the conference too. So that was kind of funny, sort of a funny coincidence. And yeah.
Thelio Astra has really been making the rounds. We're going to be at KubeCon coming up pretty soon here, and there'll be 4 Thelio Astras at different booths doing different demos at each booth. So
that's cool.
We'll have more details about that posted on our blog. Another newcomer to the Thelio desktop line is Thelio Spark, our AMD-powered starter desktop. It is an energy-efficient work of art that fits perfectly on any desk.
And you may remember Spark from the first Thelio Head music video. It was on our minds, and it still is. So now it's a AMD 8000G series system and lower starting price at, I think, $799. Beautiful design, good starter desktop if you're starting something new or just want something fast that fits within your budget.
New desktops are great, but what about desktop environments? What's new in Cosmic?
Ooh, you got to talk about the environment, Emma. So Cosmic is a vast environment of possibility. We are now in Alpha 3. Very exciting. We have some changes to Cosmic files, a lot of smoothing over with the preview mode and gallery mode. Preview mode's no longer going to be on by default, and there's a new footer widget. So when you click on a file, the button isn't going to change locations. It's just a lot neater. And then Cosmic Store now has a Made for Cosmic section, so you're going to see some nice Cosmic apps made by you guys mostly. Things like a tasks manager for your to-do list, a weather app. I think I saw a Pokedex in there. Someone is out there speaking my language. And I'm just excited to see how long that list is going to be by official release. It's pretty cool. And then lastly, we have screen reader support, an initial testable state. So it's not going to be perfect, but we're interested in hearing your feedback in the first testing of accessibility in Cosmic.
Yeah. And if you want to give it a try, go ahead and pop on over to system76.com/cosmic and you can download the alpha ISO.
And I can't forget to mention we have a lot of bug fixes in Alpha 3, thanks to you guys. You're doing great work on these contributions here. It's really feeling like a polished beta to me at this point, and we appreciate the support.
I'm so excited for our guest this month.
Who is our guest this month?
We have Shantanu from Trossen Robotics to talk about using System76 hardware and open source to create cutting-edge robotic solutions for research labs and educational institutions.
That sounds awesome, and I think we're going to learn a lot. So let's get into it.
Thanks for joining us today, Shantanu. It's very exciting to have you on our podcast today. This is Shantanu from Trossen Robotics. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do at Trossen?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. And my name is Shantanu, and I am a machine learning specialist here at Trossen Robotics. I work with the Aloha kits. We develop Aloha kits as a research product for engineers and researchers so that they can easily set up their experiments and get up and running with any task that they have in terms of machine learning, or especially imitation learning. So my goal here at Trossen Robotics is to make it as easy as possible for people and researchers to get started with machine learning, maybe in terms of setting up their hardware, software, and making it as easy as possible to use, so that they don't have any difficulty setting up all these critical functionalities in machine learning. So yeah, that's my job here.
Could you talk a little bit about the Aloha kits and what those are?
Yeah. So the Aloha kit started as a collaboration between Stanford University and Trossen Robotics. Researchers at Stanford University were looking for a low-cost, affordable product that they can use to develop machine learning for their research. So they collaborated with Trossen Robotics to create these products that are today known as the Aloha kits. Essentially, these are a leader-follower arm pair in which you will be having a Widow X arm and a Viper X arm. And it's essentially used for teaching a robot how to do stuff using bimanual manipulation. As a human, it's easier for us to look at something and learn it quickly. And maybe it might be opening a drawer, doing something as easy as tying a shoelace. But for robots, this is a complicated task. So in order to teach a robot how to do stuff, there are multiple different ways, like reinforcement learning, writing heavy code that tells a robot what trajectories it has to do. But as an easier solution, it's all imitation learning is something which is a go-to in terms of machine learning landscape. So what people do is they use the leader arms to tell the robot how something is to be done, like tying a shoelace. And once you collect enough episodes, like maybe 50 or 100 episodes of this task, you can train it using machine learning algorithm that was initially it was ACT, which is Action Chunking Transformers. And once the robot knows how to solve this problem, it will be able to do it autonomously without any help. So there are multiple papers that are published recently in a conference going on at Munich, Germany. There are papers which are also deemed as the foundation models for the growth in the machine learning landscape that we see right now. So I can go, I can keep talking about this all night, all day, but I guess that answers your question in terms of what the Aloha kit can be used for.
So it's basically like an all-in-one kit for machine learning
Yes.
with the robot arm.
Yes.
Cool. And some of our listeners might be roboticists or enthusiasts about robotics. What in the industry excites you most about robotics today?
So, for anyone in the robotics industry, or even those people who are not in the robotics industry right now, people know the hype about humanoid robots, right? And there has been a rise in the companies that are producing humanoid robots like Figure, Tesla, and Google. So I know that these seem like the future is near, but the amount of work that goes behind these robots to perform simple tasks, like the way I said it, tying a shoelace, it's on top of my mind because we just saw the release of a paper called as Aloha Unleashed, which was published by Google DeepMind. And if you see the paper, the core of the paper is like they use the Aloha kits that we provide, and they achieved a very simple task of tying a shoelace. But like for a normal person, this is like a very easy task and no one knows how complex it is, right? But when you read into the paper, you will see that to train the robot to do that task, it was so complicated that it required immense amount of GPU power. It required immense amount of training episodes. It took about 11 days for it to train to do that simple task. So the most exciting part for me is like we see these robots that are going to work in the industry, in factories and other places, and they'll be soon collaborating with humans. But the fundamentals, like training these robots to do something, starts at very basic. That's the Aloha kits, and that's me being a part of it, and me being able to contribute to the community in a way where it becomes easier for people to use these robots is something very exciting for me.
That's awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Interbotics open source repositories?
Yeah, so Interbotics is kind of why we call it open source is we don't have any control over the software in terms of we don't sell the software. We just are a hardware company. And the reason why we create the software is that people should not face any difficulties while interfacing their robots with the computers they are going to use. So they need something which is very sleek, easy to use, and they don't spend a lot of time debugging stuff. So what Interbotics does is it gives you a middleware framework, which is a layer of ROS, which is an existing robotics operating system framework, which is widely popular among roboticists. We use this communication protocol or the middleware framework, build upon it using our Interbotics software, and make it as easy as possible for people to calibrate their robots, run their robots, debug if anything goes wrong in terms of maybe servos not picking up the current correctly or the commands correctly, or servos dying in middle of operation. We provide elaborate workflows that will help them to debug anything at any point in time and get up and running with their robots in about an hour after they have set up the robot correctly. Yeah, that's a software that we offer. It's pretty easy to use. It uses something which is called ROS, which roboticists are highly familiar with. We offer C++ as well as Python bindings, so it makes it easier for you as a user to choose whatever you want. And because we support Python as well, people who build upon it can easily integrate machine learning concepts or deep learning concepts into their projects without worrying about the software that runs behind.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like we're vastly reducing the barrier to entry for robotics here. That's awesome. Have you seen any standout projects yet from the community? Like, what are your highlights, would you say?
There are multiple things that are going out in the community right now because, as you know, there is a conference on reinforcement learning that's the highly anticipated conference in terms of reinforcement learning and robotics that's going on right now at Munich. And when a conference is close by and people will be releasing all their work that they have done throughout the years, and we have noticed that at least 5 of the top papers in this conference use the Aloha kits, use our hardware, our software to some extent. There are big companies like Google DeepMind just released the paper called as Aloha Unleashed, which I was talking about before this. And we also have seen a company called as Pi, which is physical intelligence, that just announced its own foundation model that uses Aloha Kit again. We have seen, I guess there are 3 papers from a researcher from UC Berkeley, along with researchers that are leading Google DeepMind as well. So the core of this paper is like, to train a robot to do a very simple task, you need a lot of data and you need to collect a lot of data sets. And to reduce this, the amount of data that you collect, people have come up with projects that let you use any sort of data on any other robot. So it's something called as a cross training platform. So there are a lot of very interesting papers, interesting researchers that are going on in the industry. So yeah, in terms of what I was saying, the research papers that are coming out, and they are coming out so frequently, and I guess to some extent, it's because of the way we are reducing the barrier to entry with our products, making it as easy as possible to set up your robots. We also provide with a community that helps you publish your data sets, publish your trained models to a platform where you can pick the data set from and train your own models. So what happens is researchers now don't have to spend their time on setting up a hardware platform. They can invest more time in coming up with new ideas, new models, and like scale up their research to an extent that they don't have to worry about anything in the background. So I guess that's where Trossen Robotics helps the researchers, and that's kind of our motto, to help researchers or help innovators innovate.
And that goes a lot with our model of engineering the computer too, is just trying to get all the fussing around out of the way, all the, installing drivers, moving windows around, things like that, to just get people focused on what they actually want to work on. Now, you're using the Serval workstation for the Aloha Stationary 2. What led to the decision for the Serval?
Yeah, so as you said, your motto and our motto is kind of similar. And the reason is like when I started using this workstation, so to begin with any project, you need to install a lot of dependencies, a lot of different things to interface your robots with your workstation. So I've worked with different, like when I was a student, I worked with different laptops, and I have seen other people work with different laptops and the difficulties that they face while installing simple things like Linux, CUDA drivers, or any other thing. But with the this workstation, when I started, it was like within an hour, I was able to set up all the necessary dependencies. It took an hour because downloading NVIDIA Core takes an hour. It wasn't the system doing something weird. But yeah, it was a very smooth and error-free experience because most of the hardware is compatible with the NVIDIA drivers that you need. And it was as simple as running a command line argument, like saying sudo install NVIDIA server. So, and it was that simple. The Linux operation and the Linux setup was very easy. And that, I guess that's the reason why we are partners with System76 to get our laptops, so that the users that we give these laptops to, the researchers, don't have to face any other difficulties that you might face when you get a laptop which doesn't support the necessary drivers or the hardware interfaces. So I guess that's the core reason why we go with System76.
Awesome. We're happy to hear that it's going well.
And I heard the Meerkat was going to be in use soon. Do you know about that project coming up?
Yes. So,
The mini PC?
yeah. So as you see, the Aloha stationary is a bimanual robotic system, right? And we have noticed that in the research industry, people are also working with single arm devices. Like they don't need two arms to achieve or complete a task. So what we noticed was people required one arm interface. And if we are providing a cheaper alternative to the Aloha, we also need something that is as compact as possible so that people can move around the robots easily, record their episodes. And we were like looking for a system that can be useful for this. And then we saw the System76 Meerkat Mini, and it had super processing powers and interfaces. And again, because it is System76, Linux drivers, CUDA drivers, and everything was super easy to install. Given that, and how portable it is, we are soon going to launch a product called as Aloha Solo that will be using the Meerkat Mini.
That's really awesome. Do you have a timeline for that yet?
It should be out by December 1st, officially.
Okay, cool. And are there any other things that you'd like to add about Trossen Robotics or about the robotics industry and Linux in general?
Yeah, I'm happy about this partnership. We are so satisfied that we have partners like you. The great parts being like the customer support, the customization that you guys provide, and how easy it is to get something resolved in terms of anything that we need apart from the product, the support in terms of getting a product in time, sending it to the customer, having this beautiful, a streamlined process where the customer orders the product, you get it as in time, and we are able to get it to the customer in time. And there is absolutely no error in between because we are able to get the software and the hardware integrated with System76 with so much ease that it feels like it's like one product itself. It doesn't look like there are two different companies working on it. It just feels like it's a one full company. And I guess that's the best part about working with you guys.
It's definitely what we go for here. The whole experience.
Well, thank you so much, Shantanu.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's play a game.
A game? What's the game?
So I'm going to play a sound, and it's a sound that you would hear in our factory, and you have to guess what the sound is.
Okay. I haven't won one of these yet, so let's see how this goes.
Okay, it can be anything.
It's not another USB stick, is it?
No.
Okay.
It could be anything that you encounter at the System76 factory.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Anything I can encounter.
Any guesses?
Mostly I just heard Nathaniel and Aaron, so it kind of feels like when we used to put the switches and keys in by hand. I didn't really hear any machinery in there. There were some fans, but...
You're totally right. You win.
Oh, really? Whoa.
It was when we used to install keycaps by hand on the launch keyboard.
Oh my God, I got one.
You win.
Yay.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all we have for you this month on the transmission log. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
We will see you next month, and thanks for listening.
3, 2, 1, 0.
This has been the System76 transmission log. For more inspiration, check out the website and follow us on social media. On your descent back to Earth, please keep your hands and feet inside the transport beam at all times. Captain sign off, in transmission.